Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to the show. My name is Seth Estrada, and if you're watching this video, you're probably on my YouTube channel, Seth Estrada, or on my BitTube channel, mineyour.biz. Feels good to say that. Another great day in BitTube land, and I wanted to share with you our remote coverage of CES 2019. Several things to talk about that relate to cryptocurrency and to mining. This coverage is sponsored by shop.mineyour.biz, where you can get mining gear as well as merchandise. We're especially excited about the Mine Your merch section, where we have our brand new Mining Love t-shirts. Oh, there it is. Pick yours up at shop.mineyour.biz.
Please welcome the President and CEO.
Welcome. I so much hope you're enjoying new technologies, such as quantum. I'm trying to move this along. Please welcome Dr. Lisa Su from AMD.
Thank you! Thank you, Gary, for that great introduction. There were 15 billion
new technologies
in 2016.
Stop joking around.
The time between the introduction of new manufacturing technologies has actually increased as scaling has become much more difficult. There are two main
technologies
that we believe in: heterogeneous computing. And what that is you need to use the right
technologies
for the right application to achieve the best possible performance. And delivering that requires
technologies.
It requires
technologies.
It requires some
technologies
from time to time. Second important thing, pushing the bleeding
technology.
We make decisions today that will affect us 3, 4, maybe even 5 years later. And you don't know if they're going to work, frankly. Today, I'm really happy to show you for the very first time our new high-end
technologies
for gamers and creators. Radeon 7 is the second-generation Vega graphics core. It is the world's first 7-nanometer gaming
technology.
We really deliver leadership performance in content creation and compute workloads. Where does all that performance come from? Radeon 7 uses advanced 7-nanometer process technology. 25% more performance at the same power. 16 gigabytes of high bandwidth memory with terabyte per second memory
technology.
You can imagine how good this GPU is for content creation. We see up to 30% improvement in things like content creation. 62% more performance in content creation. That may be enough of me talking about content creation. Devil May Cry 5 running at 4K. So to discuss a bit more about our partnership with game developers, let me invite
technology
to the stage. It's a great crowd, isn't it? Thank you, by the way. David joined us all the way from Sweden.
And as you know, that's why we wanted to show everyone here.
That beautiful or what?
and it really is the new, yeah. Definitely. I mean, and it's thank you so much for having me.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Seth.
Thanks so much.
Now let me turn to the world of content creation. High-performance computing. Applying more powerful computing and artificial intelligence to things like climate change, things like energy solutions, medical research, and much more. Epic. What it does is it combines more cores, more memory, and more
technology
to offer leadership performance at every price point.
I'm really excited to have such tremendous
technologies.
I see this as the future of science.
What we're going to show you today is now 3rd-gen Ryzen with a head-to-head comparison against 9900K running the industry standard Cinebench benchmark. The image on the left is a competing processor. The image on the right is
technology.
Ryzen looks like 2057. Our competitor is running at 2040. Does it sound like a win? For the first time, we will show you how Ryzen looks under the
technology.
I guess I'll keep the chip. Thank you for your time today.
In all seriousness, the AMD event was pretty great. Dr. Lisa Su actually did a phenomenal job, and those who came on stage with her, they really didn't do as bad as I made them out to be. But you gotta admit, there was a lot of awkwardness. That's kind of how trade shows are. A lot of cringy moments, and frankly, public speech takes a while to get used to. So, Lisa Su, you are A-OK in my book. Love what you're doing. Don't take it too personally. But let's talk about Radeon 7 and 7 nanometer and what this means for mining. I went on Twitter saying that I'm not a huge fan, but I'm not exactly a detractor either, right? I don't have any problem with what's going on here. The announcement of a brand new CPU lineup and a brand new GPU lineup, miners, of course, want to ask, what's in it for me? How can I get these performance gains for what I'm focused on, which is taking electricity, getting high hash rates, and then gaining crypto. So Radeon 7, let's open up their micro site here and I'll hop out of the way. The first 7 nanometer gaming GPU. Why do they call it a gaming GPU? I think it's because they've got maybe some reason to believe that some of the performance enhancements will be most clearly visible with games. I'm a little bit concerned there are two 8-pin power connectors along the top. That tells me it's going to be a slightly higher power guzzler. Other models have had just a single 8-pin and then a 6-pin. So if it's so efficient, then why does it need two 8-pins? Likely because it consumes the same amount of power as previous generation Vega chips. So we'll have to see. Extreme gaming, powerful creation, future ready. 1 terabyte per second memory bandwidth is awesome. That's probably HBM2, which is what came in last year's Vega models. And if you watched my videos from early last year where I talked about the Vega Frontier Edition being the best kept secret of Q1 and Q2 of 2018, guys, I'm about to make the same prediction for 2019. The Vega Frontier Edition is actually going to make a comeback as the hash rate king. That's right, and you heard it here first. It's going to be the hash rate king because it's got that 16 gigs of HBM2 memory. So as new proofs of work, such as Merkle tree proofs, and such as alternate compute distributed projects require larger amounts of VRAM on a GPU, well, the Frontier Edition already has 16 gigs of HBM2 memory, so you don't need to wait for this one, the Radeon 7, to launch in order to join in on the fun there. And when it does launch, you don't need to pay $700 to get a Vega Frontier Edition now. In fact, you can get them used for as little as, I've seen them go, close to $300, $350. So it's a phenomenal time to buy Vega 56, 64, and Frontier Edition if you know you need 16 gigs of memory for rendering or distributed compute of some other type using OpenCL. I'm a little bit concerned about this announcement from AMD only because it doesn't appear at first blush to offer enough of an upgrade path for miners specifically. And for all the CryptoNight variants, Monero, etc., Turtlecoin, and you know I'm a fan of, Tube, Haven, etc. I don't know that there's going to be enough of a performance advantage right off the bat to make the case, the business case, for buying new cards from AMD when you can get used cards from last year. Right now, it is a used mining equipment paradise. If you want to buy stuff cheap, it is as cheap as it has ever been. So unfortunately, this news is not going to be helpful to miners. Womp womp. Let's talk a little bit more about the other products announced. So in my mind, Radeon 7, big pass in terms of mining and getting new mining equipment. But let's talk about the desktop processors. Ryzen 3 looks very promising, and the possibility of getting 16 cores on a single chip, well, Dr. Lisa Su went on record as saying about as much. She said, you see extra space on that die, you might expect that we'll put another chiplet or another 8 cores, essentially. I think that was the quote. I could be misquoting, so, you know, don't quote me. My point is, Ryzen Generation 3 may have 16 physical cores and 32 threads. So it's going to be a pretty phenomenal performer as far as the desktop part in terms of both content creation and, of course, limited desktop mining while you're not using your workstation for other things. You may have a CPU that's capable of doing CPU mineable algorithms like variants of Monero, right? And variants of CryptoNight. Most importantly, let's go to, there we go, server. Let's go to Epic right there. No pain, epic gain. I don't even know what that means. I really don't know what that means. Anyway, they're talking a lot about being able to bolster the current public cloud services that are out there. And something that I cut out of the video was that Lisa Su talked about performance gain and decreased costs right now in public cloud by just switching to Epic. And that generally speaking, if you've already compiled your code, it ports pretty well, right? There aren't that many instruction sets for most cloud applications that are available on Intel that aren't available on AMD, right? You've got a lot of feature parity in terms of instruction sets on those CPUs. That cut out as well that Epic one single EPYC 2 processor from the upcoming generation can outperform a couple of top-of-the-line Xeon processors in terms of core count and in terms of total compute. If that's the case, then getting multiple EPYC 2 CPUs onto a server board may come in handy for those who are interested in CPU mining. Again, if Ryzen 3 shows some promise for CPU mining, then EPYC 2 shows massive promise for CPU mining for those who are interested in doing CPU mining. Now, would I recommend that anybody go out and buy this equipment? I mean, I'm not in the habit of making any recommendations for hardware purchases now, and especially in early 2019, it's just not very clear. If you're not getting something used, it's not very clear whether or not anybody should purchase new equipment for the purpose of mining. Just not going to make a strong recommendation there either way, especially with the advent of FPGAs hitting the market so strongly. Products like BCU1525, like CVP13, like the F1 miner that is essentially like an ASIC filled with reprogrammable FPGA chips, but not particularly expandable, not a really good upgrade path forward. It's not very clear what direction most miners should go. So you really have to figure out for yourself what your business plan is and ask yourself the hard questions about whether or not getting new equipment fits into your business plan well. EPYC, however, I would say if you're in the market for a server build and you were considering possibly going with EPYC before, I think EPYC 2 just makes it very clear this is a phenomenal platform to build on, and that AMD is kicking butt and taking names. AMD is back in such a big way. Back in the day when you could see in the credit scroll of movies, see rendered on Opteron, you might just start seeing rendered on EPYC. That might start happening, and you might start seeing rendered on AMD. That might start happening again because of the advancements that AMD is making in this space. So, all right, guys, that's what I have to say about AMD's announcements at CES. Do I think it's all good news? No. I think that EPYC and Ryzen are great for workstation use, which means that we can dual purpose them for desktop mining or for server mining on CPU if needed. But I think that in terms of GPU mining, there may be a bit of a problem there. Something that was not talked about openly on stage was Infinity Fabric, and that is AMD's technology for linking various different processors and co-processors. Lisa Su talked about high-performance compute needing to find the right balance in the mix of heterogeneous compute between CPUs, GPUs, and then she alluded to FPGAs by saying high-speed co-processors or high-speed accelerators. I think that we're going to see a little bit more of that down the line, and I think that AMD is committed to keeping overall system bandwidth and I/O high so that you can add things like FPGAs into your system and have them become useful for general purpose compute and then for just other kinds of applications. I'm really excited by that, and I really hope that the industry as a whole can move towards OpenCL integration of FPGAs and other kinds of co-processors, and that we can get a greater variety of applications that support FPGAs, such as DaVinci Resolve or other desktop editing software or color grading software or compositing as well, and 3D content creation software titles that can potentially have custom bit streams written for them to accelerate specific processes under OpenCL. Having better heterogeneous compute environments may help everybody, really, in the long run, every single person who uses some variant of a PC or a workstation, not just miners. Anyway, I'm kind of on a tangent there, so I apologize. I'm excited by what AMD is doing. I sincerely hope that Radeon 7 launches at a slightly lower price or quickly transitions to a slightly lower price, or that there's maybe a variant of Radeon 7 offered with only 8 or 12 gigs of RAM available, so that way it's a more cost-effective desktop part, because let's be honest, the 16 gigs of HBM2 is kind of overkill, and it's a very expensive component that goes onto that board. HBM2 memory is not cheap, so the price being driven up so high is very likely due to that 16 gigs of HBM2. But that said, it's already available on Vega Frontier Edition, so if you really have to have 16 gigs, look for Vega Frontier Edition. I really do think it's back on the menu, right, as the best kept secret in mining, or in content creation for that matter, because you're going to have that really high memory size for fitting in scene files or other data that you need to process. All right, guys, that's what I've got to say about AMD at CES. There were a couple of other booths at CES that I found interesting. All right, so we're looking at the Digital Currency Pavilion at CES 2019. This footage was sent in by the Devio team, or the dev.io team. See right there, devv.io. And they are working on enterprise blockchain, which uses a form of delegated proof of stake and is not mineable. So interesting. They call it the world's most inexpensive blockchain. They sent in an interview as well, which we may publish later on. You let me know down in the comments. Would you like to learn more about dev.io? Obviously, you can check out their website too, but you let me know if you'd like to see it. Alrighty, so one of the very first booths that we see here are the Celsius Network, and I haven't covered the Celsius Network in the past because it is not a proof-of-work mineable coin, token, or project. It is a platform for lending, right? So new way to earn, borrow, and pay on the blockchain. Essentially, the way that their explainer videos explain it is that it's something like a crypto credit union where multiple members store their crypto assets with the Celsius Network, and the Celsius Network then does their own micro lending program or qualified lending, or maybe they even do subprime lending using those crypto assets back to their own members. So they try to qualify and mitigate their risks by having people be a member of their network. So that's cool. That's a bit like how credit unions operate. And so they have a lot of media that sort of shakes their fist at the big bankers and depicts them as like pigs and bulls and goats and stuff, these sort of like filthy beasts, and then shows their members as furries. So animals like monkeys, or animals, you know, like these characters, sort of androgynous, blue-haired, highly reflective, glass-wearing creatures. I don't know what they are. Anyway, they look like furries. It's interesting, right? Very interesting. The simians are over here on the right, and the felines are off to the left, and the canines are somewhere in the middle, okay? So don't get confused, all right? There's order to this menagerie over at Celsius Network. My point is that they were at CES. That's great. In fact, who was at CES? I'll show you. We can see in the video. There's the executive team. No, obviously they weren't there. Not at all. Nobody from the executive team was there unless they were taking meetings. Highly unlikely. Scott Stornetta. No, Scott Stornetta was not there. Same with the rest of the advisory team. The core team. These are the folks that day to day are actually getting stuff done. It was Kristen Ryan. She was sitting there at the booth. She's actually their director of marketing. She's a director level employee sitting at the booth because she needs to be able to answer questions. I don't know what else to say about this company other than that I think that they are something like a crypto credit union. I'm surprised that they don't identify as such. They're part of the Enterprise Ethereum Alliance, meaning they clearly use the Ethereum virtual machine to power parts of their platform. I don't know which parts or how much of it they need to lean on in order to identify as a distributed application. I doubt they have a whole lot of their mission critical infrastructure placed on the Ethereum virtual machine right now. Otherwise, frankly, it wouldn't function. Yeah, so Celsius Network was there. Check them out at celsius.network. You let me know what you think about them in the comments. So you see there are a couple of different items here. Blockchain-powered ATMs, pretty amazing concept. The question is it a blockchain ATM for cryptocurrencies? Okay, let's check out Vault Logic. They have their crypto ATM here. Looks kind of interesting, and the user interface looks very usable, but I hadn't really looked at their project before. It's a good thing they were at CES so that I could kind of take a look at what they even do, what they're all about. Seems like something that's a common thread with all the companies showing their wares here at CES 2019 is that they've got some good press already. They didn't just show up to CES with zero press, except for one, which you'll see in a moment. They show their schedule here, and they say that they have real-world utility for everyday life. What can people do using Vault Logic smart ATMs? Well, they can buy and sell cryptocurrencies. They can get traditional ATM functionality, which makes sense. Again, they clearly had a card reader there, and frankly, ATMs are not a terrible business to be in. You can collect fees, and sometimes it's inconvenient for us to say, all right, I'm going to pay $4 or $5 or up to $20. You know what I'm talking about, right? Where you've been at a venue where they charge you $20 to use an ATM, but in the moment, getting access to cash may be worth that much to you. So that's what you pay for convenience. so to speak. Paying $20 to get your money is probably not convenient, but it's less expensive than having to hoof it across town or grab like an Uber or something across town to a bank. So yeah, traditional ATM, good business model. Buy cell phone minutes, interesting. So for prepaid phones, bill pay, and more. I wonder where they intend to place these. Right there, business benefits. That's interesting. Cash as a service, balancing. It's all kind of interesting. This makes sense to me that you would create a so-called smart ATM that just does more, including cryptocurrencies, as just part of many functions. So Vault Logic being there, I think this was a very important place for them to go, very important show for them to be at. And I sincerely hope to see more about them in the future at other shows. We'll see who their partners are. Mantle, Capital Hero, Maya, Edge. Interesting. Don't really see much more about them, and we'll see if we can find anything more about the team right here. No. So I don't see much else about the team. Maybe we can find out more about them in the future, but it seems like an intriguing product or project, and I'm glad they were at CES 2019. There it is. So you have some crypto, and then you have some other options as well. Having it be blockchain powered, I think, is probably a big benefit. It looks like it's very professional. The question is, what's the practical application for improving adoption? Closer look at WizBL. I'm on the WizBL website right now, and it's just wizbl.com. They also have wizbl.io, and it is a technology company, a technology consultancy, essentially. It says blockchain real-time ecosystem. That's what they call it, the BRTE. Whatever. Everybody has to have an acronym. Everybody has to have a .io website, I guess. Still, even though it's 2019, and yeah, the sort of like Silicon Valley startup craze and .io craze probably already passed. Maybe, I don't know, but there you go. Encryption block, real-time blockchain financial transactions based on blockchain, and then P2P distributed transaction ledgers. WizBL simultaneously transaction verification system. So they have their own sort of validation system that is becoming very popular. This is very similar to what Dev.io uses. So the major technologies of WizBL or WIZBL. Clearly, all the news is in Korean, which tells me that this is likely a company based in Korea. Let's take a quick look. Greetings. I think, there we go. We will connect the virtual and real world through blockchain, the infrastructure technology of the fourth industrial revolution. Wow. Okay. Andy Ryu, the CEO of WizBL. Industry 1.0, revolution of machinery from steam engines. 2.0, mass production with electric energy. 3.0, information revolution via computers and the internet. And they believe that Industry 4.0 will be due to information and services, dApps, on blockchain, apparently, if I'm reading this correctly. So pretty darn cool. This is essentially not a matter of choice, but a matter of survival. Okay, that stands to reason. If you're convinced that blockchain is the next evolution of industrial progress, then okay, then I see it. Thank you, CEO. Now, what is? We don't want anything special. We just want people with similar passion and mentality to freely use our technology to contribute to the world that corresponds to their goals and values. Cool. Technology is, blockchain real-time ecosystem, BRTE. Dreams of a decentralized ledger management system by using a true P2P method. Open source. Future-looking statements. We will create a new blockchain ecosystem that will be shared and evolved. Okay, I wonder what they have to show for it right now. There are a lot of companies that are attempting to create new platform-level blockchain and don't have a lot to show for it yet. Nobody can build on it yet. But there you go. People power. We believe it is the everyday people who make the technology powerful and useful. I think you're right. Take a quick look at their history. All right. Hey, they've got a lot of people establishing WizBL Taiwan, WizBL UA, WizBL cryptocurrency, Bit4X listed. Okay, so they've got a coin, likely ticker symbol WizBL. WizBL, see if I can find it on CoinGecko. There it is on CoinGecko. Look, their ticker symbol is also WBL. So WizBL, trading at 129 Satoshis, and not bad. Trading volume is 21,000 daily. Interesting. Looks like they are being traded on Bit4X and CoinBeam like they mentioned there before. So that's cool, and trades against Bitcoin. Very interesting. So there they are. Developer score, kind of low, 13%. All right, looks like they definitely need more done there. So they're kind of newcomers, relative newcomers. That's okay. Company status, let's take a look at that. We already looked at their history. Looks like they're in Korea, Japan, Taiwan, Singapore, and the United States. 54 technical personnel. They have a development team of 36, some business support and technical sales. Good. They've got people working on it. That's great. If they're working in certain markets, however, that may be very inexpensive. Sounds really bad, but it's not telling what that translates into in terms of US dollars. Business agreement. This is interesting. Different memorandums of understanding, essentially like a letter of intent. Kind of a cool thing for them to publish because it shows that they have people who are interested in doing business with them, and they're just kind of putting that front and center. Here are some of the people who we've had conversations with, who we've been able to put ink on paper with. So that's great. All right, so WizBL is clearly a solutions provider for enterprise level blockchain, which makes sense. It's a huge growth market. We can expect to see more and more of this as we talk about widespread adoption and needing institutional investment. There need to be more businesses that jump on board and try to sell using crypto and try to keep records using crypto, try to provide valuable services using crypto. So good on you, WizBL. There they are. WizBL. Uniken or Uniken, which said customer first security at the top of their signage at the show. Made it kind of confusing to figure out who they were at first, but Uniken is a customer first security platform. And what they do is help to secure all kinds of user data, including transactions and transaction validation. What they are not is a blockchain company. They work in digital money, they work in digital currency, but they do not work in blockchain per se. In fact, I've taken a look at their website for some time now, and I haven't been able to find one mention of blockchain or cryptocurrency. For that reason alone, that concludes my review of Uniken. And then last but not least, a new wallet.
This is crypto hardware wallet that you can store your crypto offline safely. So yeah, this is it. We even have QR code functions, and this is the overview of the currencies that you're holding. We support up to 10 different accounts, and it's pretty good, and the user interface is really friendly and easy. Just on, then you log into our online web application, and you can go through all the transactions. This model is Bluetooth enabled, and it retails at $129. Ledger just announced their new product called the Nano X, and they retail at $149. And we're on par or just as good. I mean, we have the bigger screen, and they have Bluetooth, we have everything. So okay. Pretty good, pretty good.
Of course, the big question is how many applications does the SecuX device support? As we know, the Ledger Nano X supports 100 applications, meaning 100 different coins or 100 different coin types. So it's a race to get as many of the coins that people are interested in onto one wallet as possible, and to be first to do so. So we'll see.
Currently, we have Bitcoin Cash, Ethereum, ERC20, Litecoin, and Ripple. But we'll be adding more. I mean, we have an RD team that's working on it right now because we just finished it before CES. So time is a little bit tight, but we'll be start shipping out in mid-February.
All right, and here we are on the SecuX blockchain security company website. I don't know if SecuX would have been the branding that I had chosen, or if they had spoken to me as a consultant, I might have swayed them away from it, because it kind of just, like, depending on how you read it really fast, there's only 2 vowels, neither of which you want to put between S and X. I think you can do the rest yourself. You're intelligent people. You can figure this out. Secure your crypto assets, the world's first cross-platform hardware wallet with 360-degree comprehensive multi-layered shield design. It looks kind of like a watch face, doesn't it? Or kind of like a little wristbandless watch. Strong compatibility, so any major OS on your PC and mobile phone. Large 2.8-inch color touchscreen. That's cool. Dual connectivity, so either USB or Bluetooth, and then web-based applications, free software installation, and real-time upgrades. Cool. Take advantage of having your vault-grade wallet. Support current major coins. Concept, design, production, distribution, upgraded services, ICO progress, security versus convenience. I think those are placeholders. Those aren't explanations. Those aren't reasons to buy. That's weird. Guys, you need to talk to your marketing person, because those don't compel me to buy. That's weird. Let's look at the SecuX V20. There's no good way of saying that word. Anyway, $149 is pre-order for their V20 wallet, and it looks again kind of like a wristbandless watch face right there. They've already got a review section, but there's no possible way there could be reviews. Hey, SecuX, if you'd like to send me one of your hardware wallets, one of each ones to review, I'm happy to pass them along to other reviewers, but I'd love to see this thing in person and actually get a sense for how well it works. All right, so it says anti-tamper packaging labeled with hologram seal, a personalized PIN code or one-time password to control the access to device or wallet applications. I'm wondering if maybe this company thought that CES would be a better option to go to than a dedicated blockchain trade show. Ledger, for example, was at World CryptoCon in Las Vegas. I think they know full well what the different crypto conventions are, and so the Ledger team goes to all of the crypto conventions. And I think that the SecuX team is probably fairly new. They're debuting new hardware, and that's fine, but it seems like they didn't go to the right show. I know that's weird. I'm trying to find stuff that's blockchain related at CES, and they made the cut, but I wonder how many qualified conversations they had with buyers and stuff. Anyway, support here, Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, Ethereum, Litecoin. I'm taking for granted that Ethereum Classic as well. Litecoin, Ripple, ERC20 tokens, even at the same price as a Ledger product. The current products that are coming out at 149, the Nano X is going to support a lot more currencies than that. And in fact, the Nano S already supports a broader variety of currencies, only a few at a time, right? 3 or 4 at a time, depending on the size of the currency. Let's look at the W20. There we go. I think this is the product that was being shown. Cool. Yeah, a little square product right there. It's got USB and Bluetooth, clearly. 129, anti-tamper packaging, personalized PIN, CCEAL5 certified SE to secure private key and device PIN from attacks. Randomized digital keypad to avoid following keystrokes. Physical confirmation for each transaction to avoid man in the middle attacks. Tamper-proof firmware to preload and upgrade mechanism. Support more than 500 major cryptocurrencies and tokens, but they don't really have a comprehensive list yet, do they? That's the thing. You're going up against Ledger and you're going up against Trezor. They have websites that show you exactly which coins are offered and supported. Cloud-based application. For launching in only 9 days, I kind of want to know more about what they do. Like, I really wish that I knew more. Let's look at their last product here, the W10, which I imagine is the first generation of the W20 or a lighter version of it. Okay. It is USB only, and that's $99. So they have got a good product ladder there to bring you from $100 to $150 with the sort of premium looking device that does the same thing as the middle device. I'm not really sure why I would order this one for $20 more than the other one that does all the same stuff, supports the same number of cryptocurrencies, and appears to be just as comfortable to carry in my pocket or whatever, and still uses Bluetooth and USB. I just don't understand. Don't really understand. Don't really know what the differentiator is there. Let's take a look at the shop. What? Website's broken. Oh man, this is not good. Oh my gosh. Well, I mean, without having actually reviewed the product or checked out the company more in depth, I kind of can't, because we've got a problem. I'm on the secure HTTP site. There we go. Pull that back up. Oh my goodness. Unreal. Who we are. That's kind of what matters, is the core team, mission, profile, etc. Dr. Peter Chen, Dr. Charles Su, Dr. Gregory Chu, Sam Lin, Jeff Schwo, James Huang, Kyo Yang, and Dr. Woody Cheng. We've got 4 doctors on the team. What are they all doctors of? Okay, so I spent quite a while trying to track these guys down, and on LinkedIn, I couldn't find a single one of their doctors. I'm just going to look the company up. SecuX. Okay, there it is, a consumer technology company. There we go, 1 employee on LinkedIn, Kathy Chuang. Is she actually listed? Digital marketing manager. Wait, what? Why would she not be listed? Okay, that's the core team profile. Go back to the mission in a minute. Yeah, I don't think there's enough information here for me to really feel confident. And the fact that they went to CES instead of going to a blockchain, specifically a blockchain show, has me a little bit worried. User manual. Oh, cool. Oh, what? Order and shipping? Let me guess no? About wallet. Nope. FAQ. Oh my gosh. Okay. Try to choose USB. Try to choose Bluetooth. They're both not working. There's quite a bit that doesn't work here. And we tried the shop before. This is what I think broke everything. Nope. They've got a working cart there. Taiwan dollar or US dollar. Those are the only two options. They're very clearly interested in taking US dollars. I think that I'm going to leave this one alone. I wish that I could reach out to you guys. Contact and support. Let me see what I got here. Might send you guys an email or something, see if we can work out some kind of a reviewer sample or something else. But we've got some info there. Contact at SecUX Tech. Guys, that's harder to say in English. All right, so that's SecUX Tech in a very large nutshell. All right, guys, there you have it. Unfortunately, that's the entire digital money pavilion at CES. Can you believe it? I'm going to let that play in the background. This is what CES had to offer by way of digital money. Really not much. Blockchain technology, so to speak, is not really well represented as a consumer technology just yet. You saw the ATMs. That's probably a step in the right direction of adoption, maybe, but frankly, if people don't see the use case for cryptocurrencies specifically, then they don't really care what powers their technology. They just want it to work well. This is one of the problems that we have in cryptocurrency in general, is that blockchain technology as a separate technology is not very user-friendly on either end, on the programming side, on the data wrangling side, and on the user experience side. So right here, I'm going to pause right there on that screenshot. If we see right here on the Vault Logic, their user interface, international phones, pay bills, mobile phones, gift cards, shopping, crypto. Very interesting that there are so many different categories, but realistically, we know that there's going to be financial transactions, people wanting to be able to access their financial accounts and be able to use their debit card or credit card to be able to do a cash withdrawal of some sort or a debit of some sort at an ATM with some type of a fee. That's where the majority of fees are made, at ATMs, or exchanging money of some other sort. If they can sell crypto as well or exchange crypto as well on some level at this point of sale as an ATM, then more power to them. But you see, it looks a lot like a, air quotes, traditional automated teller machine. That's what people are used to. That's what people say they need, right? I mean, what is it? Henry Ford said that if he had done what people wanted, then he would have built a better horse and buggy, right? Would have built a faster horse and buggy. All right, guys, this is what I've got for you from CES 2019. In my mind, one of the most important events to come out of it was AMD's announcement of new
technology.
The Radeon 7 looks interesting. Again, I don't want to completely shoot it down, but in my mind, the Vega FE is a better buy for the money. What do you think? Leave a comment down below, and you tell me, if you had to buy a new AMD GPU today, or you were planning on it in the next month or so, would you wait for Radeon 7 to come out and possibly try it? Or would you, like me, buy 2 used Vega Frontier Editions? Let me know down in the comments, guys. Thank you so much, as always, for tuning in. You're the reason I make these videos. I love your face, and I will see you in the next one.